So they had the tickets, they had the booster packs, they had the playmats, everything that is meant for players, everything that is meant to be as prizes. They just scam them. It is a scam, everyone, and welcome to this video. Today is Monday, 16th of February of 2026, and I'm going to tell you about my experience, which was a bittersweet experience at the YCS 300 in Guadalajara, Mexico. The YCS 300 is a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that took place in Guadalajara, Dortmund, Germany, and Richmond in the US. So Mexico, Germany, and the US. The event ran at the same time in the three countries, and I had the luck to attend to the Guadalajara event. This event is open to everyone. You don't need to qualify to participate. So me being a very new player and a player that doesn't have much experience, it was a great opportunity for me to come, learn, and just have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But my experience was tainted by something that happened yesterday. But we're gonna get to that. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how my experience was in general, the good things, the bad things, and the very bad things as well. So we're going to talk about how it went for me during the games, how the experience was. I'm going to add some photos. I'm going to show you some cards and things that I bought. And I'm also going to tell you about a scam that I was a victim of and a drama that happened at the YCS in Guadalajara. But let's start with the good. So I flew from this city. The city is called Puebla. And I flew, it just takes like an hour to fly from here to Guadalajara. Me and my dad, he came with me on Friday. And I want to take this opportunity to do a shout out to my dad. Dad, thank you so much for bringing me to Guadalajara, for taking care of me. The reason why he traveled with me is because he, being my dad, and knowing that this event is mostly attended by men, he didn't want me to go alone. So he came with me, and I'm very grateful for that. He just came to Guadalajara with me for that reason. So thank you so much, Dad, and for your patience and for supporting me in my Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. So we left on Friday and we arrived to Guadalajara. We arrived to the hotel. It was like 1 hour away from the airport. Then we took an Uber from the airport to the Hacienda La Providencia. This place in particular was really, really beautiful. It is a very specific style for an hacienda. We have haciendas everywhere, and this one in particular was really beautiful. I think the organizers of the event chose a very good location. The location was very good. It was not far from Guadalajara. It is in a conurbated city called Zapopan, but from my hotel to the hacienda was just like half an hour with car, with Uber. So I think the location was really good. It was very pretty. The weather was amazing. It was like 30 degrees Celsius, and it was just lovely, sunny, and beautiful. And I was so happy because the reason why I'm in Mexico right now is because I am escaping the Swedish winter. So for me, it was perfect. And yeah, the weather was great. They also had food at the place. They had snacks, they had sandwiches, they had tacos, flautas. Flautas are like fried tacos, and they had many things. And that was very good because I have heard that at other events there is no food. So, I mean, this food you have to pay for. It is not free, but just the availability of proper things to eat made a huge difference for us that were really, really busy with the games. So that was very good. So the location, the weather, the food, also the people were really nice. The organizers of the event are a store called UAC Guadalajara. They were very nice. Everyone that I met at the event, players, judges, the UAC people, the staff, everyone was super nice, super welcoming. Like, that made the experience a great one. They had decorated everything with like banners with the Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists. They had a bunch of things, and it was a very beautiful place. Like the vibes, the location, everything was great. So zero complaints about that. Now, when it comes to the games, I competed on the main event in the YCS on Saturday. I won 4 matches and lost 5, but out of my 4 wins, 3 of them, my opponents didn't show up. So I won the match because my opponent didn't show up. I actually won only 1 match, but I had 4 because 3 of my opponents didn't show up. However, from the matches that I lost, not all of them were 2-0. I did win some duels. I play Blue Eyes Primate with Master Magia, and as soon as I had Master Magia out, there was no way to defeat it. There was just one guy who was able to destroy Master Magia, and it was not an official duel. It was like a fun duel that we had between side events. I will talk about that later. But other than that, every time I had Master Magia out, it was like a winning condition for me. Master Magia is out, there is nothing that the opponent can do. As for the duels that I played, I don't remember what deck it was. Oh yeah, it was Horus that I defeated. And that was 2-0, if I remember correctly. Either 2-0 or 2-1. But that match was mine. I properly won that match, and I am very proud of that. As for another duel that I had, it was against Fire Kings. I won the first duel, and I would have won the second one if it wasn't because I literally drawed myself. In my turn, my opponent started like getting things out of his deck, and I like panicked, so I used draw and lock bird. And of course, that prevented me from doing anything. I only had the Sage with Eyes of Blue, and the Spirit with Eyes of Blue on the field. I had perfect hand to bring out Master Magia. I had the Maiden, I had Kaiba Man, I had everything to bring out Master Magia, but I drawed myself out of everything. So I did what I could, and I still couldn't win. And then the third duel, it was very, very even. And then I lost. He only had 3,000 points left, and then he destroyed my True Light. So my monsters got destroyed. Then I couldn't recover from that. But I was very close to winning that match. So it would have been 2 matches that I properly won. And then maybe paired with other people, I don't know. But so my final result, I placed 529 out of 1,208. So it wasn't half bad, but to be honest, many of my wins were people that didn't show up. So anyway, I am very proud of my result. I did my best. I learned a lot. And I think overall it was a great experience on Saturday. Saturday was my favorite day by far. And everything was perfect that day. Now, let's talk about the drama and let's talk about the scam. A disclaimer for this second part of the video. I was born in Mexico. I am Mexican Swedish, but I am 100% Mexican. And as much as I love my country, and it is a great country, and this is in no way an attack to the country itself or the people, it is true that Mexico is infamous for being a corrupt place. And we have all been victims of scams. And this is not to throw trash to the country as a country, but it is true. It is true that there are many things that happen here that I'm no longer used to anymore, because Sweden is, even if it's not a perfect country, there is way, way, way less corruption, and scams are not that common, not like on your face, as what I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so let's talk about the scam, and then let's talk about the drama. First, the scam. So yesterday, as I had already been kicked out of the YCS because I didn't qualify to the top 64, I arrived at 9:30 to the Hacienda, and I went directly to pay to participate in a regional. So a regional is a smaller tournament where you participate, and the winner gets, if I remember correctly, they get booster packs, they get a playmat, they get like a bunch of things, like gifts. And also, when you pay to participate in a regional, you pay 220 pesos, which is like $10. And then you get 2 booster packs. So the way that Konami handles this is you pay for the packs, and then the tournament is free. It's like a gift, and what you are buying is the packs, not the tournament itself. So I paid to participate in a regional. First, you submit like a registration paper in the place where you pay, the cashier. You pay, they stamped your paper, and then you queue in another place where you submit your deck list as well as this paper with the stamp that you. I did that. I followed the whole process. And then I got my paper. It looks like this. This says win a mat. But the paper that I had said regional and it had number 25. So this was win a mat 118 and my ticket for the regional said regional 25. So after you pay and you submit your deck list, you get this. I took my paper, this thingy that said regional 25, and then I went to the hall where the side events took place, which is not the same place where the main event took place. There were two different halls, and this one was closer to the registration area. So I arrived there with my friend. My friend, his name is Freddy. So Freddy and I arrived to the hall where they were playing the side events. And at that moment, when we arrived, they had Regional 23. So they were playing Regional 23. This hall was like a very big hall with many different tables, like long tables, elongated tables, and then different events took place. They had Master Duel, they had Duel Links, Win a Mat, Attack of the Giant card, the regionals, they had 3v3. There's like a bunch of side events. So then we arrived, we sat down, and then we waited. So they were playing Regional 23. Then every event was announced via, they had speakers and there was like a judge with a microphone. And then the judge said, okay, now players for regional number 23 gather in section 1 where there is a judge raising their hand, go with him, and then play your tournament there. And that was the same thing for everything. For all kinds of side events, they always said it with a microphone on the speakers, the number, and then calling out for all of the players to go and gather there so they could start playing. So when we were there, they were playing number 23. And then they said on the microphone, okay, now players for regional 24 gather in section number 2, there where the judge is raising their hand, go with him, and then you'll play your tournament. Okay. By then, we had already been waiting for like 40 minutes when suddenly they announced regional 26. So we had heard 24, and then approximately 20 minutes later or something, they announced 26. But what happened to 25, our tournament? So Freddie and I went to a judge, and then we asked, excuse me, we are here for 25, and we just heard 26, but they haven't announced 25. And then he said, yeah, 25 is going to start soon. So stay close, keep an eye out for the announcement, and then Regional 25 will start soon. Okay, then we sat down again, we waited. Approximately 20 minutes later, Regional 27 was announced, and 25 was MIA. So we went to another judge, and then we asked, hey, excuse me, we have been waiting for number 25 for like an hour. It was more than 1 hour now, and they told us that it would start soon, but it hasn't started, and number 27 was just announced. So what happened to 25? So this judge, he asked someone else, and then another judge came. He said, follow him, and he will take you somewhere, something like that. And then we followed this other judge who took us to a table that was the closest to the like far end of the hall, where they had like a very, very big table for the judges with computers and papers, and so like a management area for judges. And that was where the judge that was announcing all of the events was sitting. So they sat us there, they told us to wait there on that table. And as we understood it, it sounded like not enough people had gathered for tournament 25. And then regional 28 was announced. So we were very confused. And then we asked again, hey, we have been waiting for regional 25 for almost 2 hours now. And where is it? And another judge came. And then he said, hey guys, you know what? Regional 25 ran at 10:50, like 50 past 10. By now it was already like 20 to 12? Like we had already been waiting for like, I don't know, a long time. And then we said, that is not possible. How could it run at 10:50 when we were here waiting for it? You didn't call it then. And I said, no, we apologize. Maybe we didn't call it. It has been a bit messy. We really, really apologize if we didn't call it. Like, he just apologized. He didn't offer any solution. And then Freddie said, well, can you like sign us up for next regional? Because we want to play the regional. Because the regional gets special prizes, and also they get a pass to the Continental, which is another event that's going to happen later this year. And my friend, he's very good, and he has won regionals before, and he has won passes for Continental events. So my friend told him, hey, can you sign us up for another regional? Then I said, I'm sorry, but there are no more regionals. And then we were like, what? There are no more regionals? So you mean that we're out of a regional? And he said, yeah, but you missed your regional. So we apologize that maybe we didn't announce it properly. He said something like that, like some kind of excuse. And then he said, but we were very sorry about the misunderstanding, for not like making it more apparent that Regional 25 was running, but you missed it. And he didn't offer any solution, nothing. So of course, Freddie and I, especially Freddie, he was very angry. We were leaving. We were gonna go back to the place where you register for a win a mat, which was another kind of event. Not as big, not as important, but you can win a play mat. So we were heading there when suddenly we saw 3 guys that were talking to a judge, and they were also complaining about Regional 25 with the same thing. They were saying, hey, we were here since Regional 23 was playing, then 24 was called, and then 26. They just skipped 25, and we were here waiting. 25 didn't run. So what happened? We came to the judge as well, and we say, hey, the same thing happened to us. So now we were 5 people that had been scammed in the same way. And I will tell you how the scam happened. So first there were 3, and then me and Freddie. So we were 5. So the judge started feeling the pressure, and then he said, you know what? We don't have any more regionals. You have to go back to the registration table, tell them what happened, and ask them to find you a solution. On the way there, one of the other 3 guys, he disappeared. I guess he didn't want to be involved, and he just left. So it was 4 of us that came to the registration table. There was a lady there, and then we explained to her what happened. Said, okay, if you missed the call for Tournament 25, then there is nothing we can do. That's why we always tell you guys, you have to pay attention, blah, blah. And I said, look, there is no way, the 4 of us, not all of us came together. We were all there in different groups. We were 5 people actually who missed it. There is maybe 1 person can miss it. Maybe 2 people, if they are friends and they're distracted, which we weren't, can miss it as well. But not 5 people in different places in the same hall. Like something weird happened. And then one of them told her, we want to see the pairings. We want to see like the names of the people that registered. We want to see who won. We want to see like more information about the regional. Like we want to make sure that it happened. He didn't say all of this, but it was implied when he asked to see the pairings. And then she said, okay, let me see what I can do. And then by now, I had written to a Yu-Gi-Oh group that I have on WhatsApp. And then one of my friends, he is from the north of Mexico, he told me, you know what happens in these situations is that local people, they plan this so that someone pays for the slots in the regional. Let's say if there are 16 slots, someone pays each slot. So what's that? It's $10 per entry, and then it's 16 places, so $160. But then the person gets all of the booster packs, so it's 2 booster packs per person, so that's 32 booster packs. The booster packs from the winning prize, the playmat, everything. So for that person who is buying the regional as a scam, because this shouldn't be allowed, like you are not allowed to go and buy a whole tournament. Like you can participate, but buying a whole tournament is just corruption and it's a scam. So he told me that this happens, unfortunately, and I wasn't aware of that. So when the lady, the organizer, came back, she said, the only thing I can offer you is to register you for free to a Winamat, and it's only gonna run between the 4 of you. Usually in a Winamat, if I understand correctly, it is 8 people. During these side events, you get tickets and then you can exchange those tickets for things in the event. So this is a ticket. This is how it looks like. It says YCS 300, and you get one ticket for participating in a side event. And then if you win the first round, then you get another one. So the people that are like the top 4 of each Win-A-Mat tournament get 2 of these, and then the next round gets an extra. So the top 2 get 3 of these, and then the winner, I think they get 2 more. So I believe the winner gets 5. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but something like that. So you get tickets like this. This one I kept for myself as a memory of the event. And this is also a token that I did on Sunday. At the YCS and other Yu-Gi-Oh events, you can go and take a photo, and then they place you choose the background, and then they make a token. This means token in Spanish. And yeah, you can use it as a token. For me, I'm not going to use it as a token. I'm just going to have it as a memory of the event. This card, I got it as a gift from a player because it was very fun playing together, and I guess he wanted to give me something, so he gave me this Blaze card. So this is like a memento from the event for me. Okay, so very important. Remember this. This ticket is very important. So she said, I will sign you up for a Win-A-Mat, and you will play that Win-A-Mat, the 4 of you. So we had secured 2 tickets for each of us. It was not a perfect solution, but because I know how things work in Mexico, I was sure that the more we ask, the less helpful they are going to be. We're never going to get any information. We're never going to get to the bottom of it. We're never going to know what happened. So the only thing that we can do is to just take the Win-A-Mat now when they're offering it. So we did that. We accepted it, and we went back to the hall. By now, we had already lost like 2.5 hours. So when we started playing, we had already lost like 3 hours. And then we played. I lost. It is like direct elimination. So you lose 2 out of 3. So you lose a match, and then you're out. I was out, and then my friend won. So then he played against the guy who played against me. That guy had Vanquished Soul. And the guy that defeated me played Vanquished Soul, if I remember correctly. And then the guy that he defeated played Radiant Typhoon. I've never played against Typhoon, and I thought it was really, really fun. I'm actually considering building that deck because it hadn't happened to me before that I play against someone and I really like their deck, and I really liked that guy's deck. The Typhoon deck was very fun. So maybe I will build one. So then they played, my friend lost, and then the guy who won, he got, I think, 5 tickets or 4 tickets. So for 2 tickets, you get a pen, or you get a field center card. You get like a small prize. And then playmats, they were 10 tickets. And then expensive cards were 200 tickets. So 200 of these for an expensive card. Okay, so that happened. Next part. After that, my friend went with his other friends, and I went alone to sign up to another Win-A-Mat event. While I was waiting, okay, by then I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and think, okay, maybe they made a mistake, maybe they didn't sign up enough people for tournament 25, it didn't run, maybe it did run and the 5 of us missed the announcement. Okay, I believe, okay, it can be a human error from our side, from their side, it's okay. But it was not that. I don't have any proof because I didn't take any photos, but I saw this myself. And now I have no doubt that it was a scam. While I was waiting for this Win-A-Mat 118, so the second one that I was going to participate in, there was a guy, we call them in Spanish carpeteros. They have a binder full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. They trade cards or they sell them. You're not supposed to sell them in these events. It's forbidden, but many people did it. However, in his backpack, because I was sitting right next to his friend, and then he came to sit with his friend, he opened his backpack, he took out his binders, and he also took out a bunch of these tickets, but they were not loose tickets like this. They were rows, like complete series of tickets like this. And that is not possible because when you participate, First, you get one ticket. The judge leaves the ticket next to you on the table while you are playing. You win, then you get another ticket, lose like this. So now you have two, and they are two separate things. They are not attached to each other. And then if you win the next one, then you get a third ticket, and now you have three tickets that are not attached to each other. So how did this guy get series of tickets together? It was like just like this. Many tickets. I don't know how many, but it must have been like the series must have had more than 30 tickets. And then it was clear to me that that guy somehow had gotten those prizes from those tournaments, like the tournament that didn't run, so Regional 25. And I have no way to know if those tickets were from my tournament, if those prizes were the prizes for Regional 25, or if they have done this to other regionals as well, to other side events, because it's very easy. Like when you are in that hall, you're just waiting for your number. You don't really know about the other numbers, and you're not keeping track of the numbers. You only care about yours. So how are people going to know that they are skipping events, that they are keeping the tickets for themselves? That so this guy with the binders, he was not a judge. Well, I don't know. I hope not. He was not a judge. He was not an organizer. He was probably just a player who paid either an organizer or a judge or both or someone in management. I have no idea. To fake a regional or another event, and then he got all of the lines. They also had hundreds of booster packs. Yeah, you can buy them, but I don't think they bought them. I think they got the booster packs from the registration for those regionals and as the prices. So they had the tickets, they had the booster packs, they had the playmats, everything that is meant for players, everything that is meant to be as prizes. They just scam them. It is a scam, and it is very unfair because personally, I went there to play. I am not good enough to win. I know that. I'm not saying that if I had participated in the Regional 25, I would have won. I wouldn't have. I know that. I wouldn't have. But I wanted to play. Even if I lost my first match and then I'm out, yeah, but I was there to play. I registered to have the experience of playing against other players. And instead, I got to wait for 3 hours for nothing. And not only that, but also they told us that we had missed the regional when the regional didn't even run. So it was all a scam. It was all, and I'm going to sound very Mexican when I say this, but Mexico, Mexico. Those things happen in Mexico all the time. But I wasn't expecting it to happen in an official Konami tournament YCS 300 when they are advertising this as the same level as Dortmund in Germany, as Richmond in the US. I don't think these kinds of scams happen in Dortmund and in Richmond. And I am very disappointed that people do this because, yeah, for me, there is no way I'm going to win a regional, but I still want to have the experience. That's what I'm paying for. If I wanted the playmat, I can just buy it from someone. Maybe someone wins the playmats like fairly, honestly, with honor, and then they sell them because they want the money. They don't want the playmat. But they are not scamming players for it. It's their own ability that makes them win those playmats, and then they sell them, and that's completely fine. But the fact that we paid to participate in a regional, and then the regional didn't run, and someone kept the prices, someone kept the tickets, someone kept the playmat, that is just a stain in my experience at the YCS 300. It's very hard in Mexico to control these things. You don't know who is involved. It could be a judge, it could be an organizer, it could be management from the side, maybe not an organizer, maybe not a judge, who knows. But personally for me, it was a tainted experience. It was something that, it is, you're already tired from the main event on Saturday, and still you make the effort to wake up early, you arrive on time, you queue, you pay, you submit your deck list, you prepare, and then you waste 3 hours waiting for something that's not going to happen, and no one gives you like concrete answers. They just, to be honest, I don't know. As I said, I'm not going to point fingers and say it was the judges or the organizers. I have no idea. but it is very unfair. I don't think Konami knows about it. To be honest, I am pretty sure Konami is not involved in this at all. I mean, it is an event with many, many people. I think it is very hard for the organizers to keep track of everything. I also have met a few judges, and everyone has been very, very nice. So it is very hard for me to understand how it works that someone will allow this to happen and participate in this. And then that guy who had the tickets, I asked him, "Are you selling the tickets?" And then he said, "No, we're not selling them." So what I think they do is that they use the tickets to get the playmats, and it is the playmats that they sell. They don't sell the tickets themselves. It is the playmats that they sell, and they sell them very expensive. And I just think it's a very, very bad thing that they do. It is very unfair. And yeah, it is a bittersweet experience for me because it made us lose a lot of time. They wanted to blame it on us that we missed the announcement when the announcement never happened. So yeah, I'm still a bit angry about it, to be honest. And I think we have the right to be angry about this, that because if they had just signed us up to Regional 26, then we just played Regional 26. Whatever they want to do with Regional 25, it is their problem. They can scam, they can take the prices, whatever. But then just let us play. Like, why? I think they were not intended to run 25 from the beginning. I think maybe there was some miscommunication between whoever was doing these scams, and they signed us up for a tournament that was never going to happen, and they should have signed us up for 26 or for 24. So that was very bad. We lost a lot of time. It was very exhausting. After that, I only had time to play. So I played the Winamat that they gave us to the four of us. And so that was 2 duels that I lost. Then I played against the Typhoon guy, 1 duel that I lost. Then I signed up to the other Winamat. This is from the last one. And then because it is like you have to wait for like half an hour between events. So in total, I only played 6 matches, 3 matches yesterday, 6 duels in total. When my intention was to play in as many duels as I could, in as many regionals, but they made us lose 2 hours. That could have been 2 regionals that we didn't participate in because of this scam. And that I'm very angry about. And that is something that has tainted the experience, unfortunately. On the bright side, okay, let me tell you about the drama, and then we will go to my favorite thing of the whole event. So the drama is much shorter than the scam. The drama is that there was a guy, and this, from the 5 people that were scammed, at least that I know, we were 5 that were scammed in Regional 25, and the one that left, and then there's 4 of us left. So one of these guys, the guy who played Typhoon, he told me, because he was like main row in this drama, he was in the bathroom, and then he was doing his business, and then there was a guy that ran. There was like an entrance to the bathroom, and there was like an entrance on the other side, so you could like enter from the hall and go out to the garden. So someone ran, I think, from the hall to the garden behind him, and then behind the guy who ran, chasing after him, was one of the organizers, a woman, and then 3 guys running behind her. And he didn't know what happened. I was like, okay, weird, but so then he came out of the bathroom, he sat down in a bench, he was looking at his cards, and then suddenly the guy who had run out, he was like running around, and then the organizer and the other 3 guys, they like tackled him and threw him to the ground, and then they were like holding him down. And what happened is that he had stolen a binder. So he was running with a binder that was not his, and then they stopped him. This guy didn't know if they called the cops on him. He doesn't know what happened, but there was some drama, and there are some photos about this. So yeah, some dramas and some scams and classic Mexico Mágico, as we say. But let me tell you the best thing about this event. Besides the duels, which of course were my favorite part of the event, I had been looking for a card that is very meaningful to me, and it's this one. This version of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is my favorite monster, and of course it is Kaiba's card. And this version of the Blue Eyes with the signature, with the late Kazuki Takahashi's signature, was a card that I had been looking for months. I just came back to Yu-Gi-Oh after 20 years. And then when I learned about Mr. Kazuki Takahashi's passing, I felt very sad. I grieved that death for a while. I still feel very sad when I think about it. Of course, I'm very sad that he died and all of his creativity, everything that could have, everything more that he could have done with Yu-Gi-Oh is lost forever with him. So of course, it is very tragic that he died as a person and as a creative mind. So that was quite harsh when I learned about that. It was just a few months ago. And then I heard about this card, which is an art that he himself made for this card and he signed it. So I have been looking for this card for a long time. I have seen this card in card market in Europe for 250 euros, if I remember correctly. It is a very rare card. It is not common at all. And this one for 250 euros, that is like around that in dollars. Let's say $250 each. And this one I found at the YCS from a store. I paid, it was 2,800 pesos. So it must have been $140. So half the price, less than half the price that from what this card sells in Europe is how much I paid for it. And not only that was a great find, like it was much cheaper. I was actually waiting to come back to Sweden to buy it because I had decided I was going to buy it for 250 euros. But now I found it for way, way, way less than that. And now this card is in my deck. So I'm actually playing it because every time that I get it, like as a draw or I summon it or whatever, it is a reminder of how much Yu-Gi-Oh did for me last year. And just like final thoughts from this video. So last year, I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh again after like 20 years because I played when I was younger. I have talked about this in many of my videos, but I played a lot when I was younger. I stopped before university in Mexico. So it was like 20 years ago, 15 maybe. And I came back last year after playing Early Days Collection. And last year was a very difficult year for me personally in my life. And Yu-Gi-Oh became like both entertainment, an escape, how do you say in English? Like a safe place to be. Like everyone has been super nice. It has been very fun. I love the cards. I love Kaiba. And it has been a way for me to cope with many things that happened last year. So it is very meaningful for me. And this card represents that. So I would say, even if the scam tainted my experience, it was very worth it to go to the event. I had a lot of fun. I met many people. Everyone was extremely nice. Like people trading cards, the judges, the players, everyone was super patient with me. I was a bit worried that people were going to be mean because I'm new, because you can tell that I'm not very experienced, that people were going to try to take advantage of me or intimidate me. I had been warned about that, or that the judges could be really harsh on you. Nothing of that. Everyone was super nice, super patient, understanding. It was a great experience for a new player like me. And it is very unfortunate that I was scammed, that this thing with Regional 25 happened. But I would say I would do it all over again, even if that would happen again. Also, this was very nice. I really like it. It's a yummy background and it's very nice. And then that very nice player who gave me the blue eyes card and the memory. And this was not the only card that I bought. I made another video with cards. And I also bought more play mats. I bought a bunch of cards. I don't have the energy right now to show you everything. Maybe I will do another video with that another day. But it was just a very, very nice experience. Tainted, but very nice. So yeah, have you ever been scammed? Have you ever participated in a YCS? Do you want to participate in a YCS? Oh yeah, I also got this one. This one is from the eFootball Yu-Gi-Oh crossover promotion. I think the Rescue Rabbit with this outfit looks absolutely adorable. And yeah, there were not many girls at the event. I thought I would see more actually. There were a couple. There was a girl that was cosplaying as the tour guide of the underworld, I think it's her name. And there were a couple other girls, but we were not many. I would say that maybe in total, like participants, because there were some organizers that were women, two judges, I think, that were women as well, or one, at least one judge that was a woman, but maybe there were two. But participants, like girls actually playing, we were not many at all. I didn't see more than 15. Yeah, I think 15 tops. Like I could count them with my hands. So maybe 10, 15, around that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think. And again, as much as I love Mexico, these things happen. And I don't think this will happen in Richmond or Dortmund, unfortunately. But I also think that I hope that this doesn't taint your idea of what Mexico is, even if it is infamous for being a corrupt country and these things happen. Mexico is an amazing place. The people in Guadalajara were very, very welcoming, not only at the event, but like at the airport, the Uber drivers, at the hotel. Everyone in Guadalajara was really nice. I was very surprised about that, but it was a nice surprise. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and let me know what you think. Okay, take care.